we'll start it off with what we were talking about before you took the seat, and some good news comes the way of the program, and 2 years running now, Carson-Newman has somebody on the Good Works team. What's that mean for you and your program?
Well, it means a whole lot to me personally to think that I get to associate with kids that are up for that kind of an award, because and then for it to happen 2 years in a row is tremendous, and feel like that's a compliment to the kind of kids that we have. Number one, and number two, it's a reflection on the kind of folks we have around Carson-Newman that wants to impact the world. You can't impact the world if it's all about you. You got to get out and get in the world, and hopefully not of the world, but in the world. And I think we got some people that do that at Carson-Newman and encourage us to do it. And I think the football program for years and years has been, we've been very, very other-minded as far as doing things out in the community, and we've done a whole bunch of things, out to help other people, and we should. We got a lot of manpower, and so it's a great. I guarantee I'm just as excited as Kevin Day is about it, and I don't get to go to the Sugar Bowl, but I'm as excited about it as he is, and it's a great compliment to him.
Wingate comes in here Thursday night, national TV. Just start things off with a statement about the Bulldogs.
Well, a very capable football team that has had an interesting year, just like we have, where they've pulled off a couple of great wins and then have given one away. And so, we I can't say we gave that away. I guess Newberry took that one last week, but we certainly didn't play up to our standards, and that's unacceptable for us to play like that, and hopefully that's not going to happen again. And I was hoping that this team would be mature enough for that not to happen, but we got to realize that we're still a very young football team. We still got a lot of young players, and that's part of growing up, I guess. But they're going to grow up without heads if they do that again, because we're going to cut them off. But anyway, we'll hopefully, we'll play better against a very, very capable opponent that does the things again that's tough for us. They're going to throw the ball. They're going to mix in the run very well. And, we have 0 sacks and 0 interceptions. So we've got to change our ways if we're going to have a chance to win this ball game.
I talked to Kevin about watching them at Children's Hospital last year, and I think you were with a different set of the team somewhere else.
I was at UT Trauma Center, UT Hospital Trauma Center.
But I just, and I apologize, I can't remember the person's name, but I remember when we did the story on your prostate cancer diagnosis and surgery, there was a comment from a parent of one of those kids at there that talked about what that meant to their child, and of course wishing you all the best and prayers, and how well that child's doing now. But when you hear about stuff like that coming back, what is Kevin, and like I said, I was there, and he was in charge of that and talking to those kids. How does that make you feel?
Well, it makes me feel great, and it makes me realize, as it should for all of us, that there's some eternal value in giving to other people, and there's some folks that need to be encouraged, and we all need to be encouraged, and anytime we have an opportunity to do that, I think we're reflecting Christ the way we need to reflect Christ, and that's what life's all about. If we're doing that, then we gain life. If we don't do that, then we're probably going to lose life. An aspect of it, and so that's what did an old philosopher say? You only keep what you give away, and thank goodness. It was last year when we went to UT Trauma Center, went to Hope Resource Center, went to Patricia Neal Rehabilitation Center and went to Children's Hospital. That was on our fall break, which meant that those kids went on a day that they had a break and went and did that. And it was a tremendous day for us. And I think I think we got a lot more out of it than we gave. But we're very grateful for those kinds of opportunities, and we're always going to try to do that, because I think that's our high calling. And so excited to be just to see guys like Kevin Day get a little bit back from that, and I think that's tremendous.
We'll talk about Kevin. Obviously, he's a fixture, 4-year starter for you. Preston served as a redshirt freshman, he was, Kevin before he won this or was announced this. He's going to be that after. What does he talk about him as an individual? What do you think he means to the team?
Well, Kevin has been a major part of everything that we've tried to get done around here the last 3 or 4 years. He's part of a team that went to the semifinals. He was a part of the team that went 5 and 6 last year, and he's always found a way to contribute. And when we lost a whole bunch of starters last year, was because of injuries. Kevin has been that steadfast guy. He's had some injuries, but he's not missed a ball game. And he'd have to have bones sticking out before he'd miss a ball game. He's an amazing, tough competitor, and very, very important to this football team. It all starts at the snap, and he snapped them, most of them, for 4 years now, and so that's pretty important.
And two, you can't help but notice, obviously, his size is not typical.
Right.
So he's doing it with not the physical gifts that you would think. He's doing it with his toughness and his mind. So talk about that a little bit.
He really has. He's a very, very smart player, and he has to use his smartness to get it done, because head up, he's not going to get many people blocked, but now he'll bite them on the ankle, or he'll do something, and so he's been a real treat, and he'll be very, very hard to replace when he gets through with his career here, because he's been not only a physical contributor, but he's been very much a leadership contributor.
We saw David Freeman come in late in the game against Newberry, had that long touchdown run. What have you liked about him so far this year?
Oh, David's a super kid. He'll do anything. If you'll notice also, he's on just about every kicking unit. And the reason he is because he'll find a way to help. And if every kid on this football team was like David Freeman, it would be a really, really fun group to coach. And thank goodness we do have some like him. But he's an exceptional kid as far as his willingness to find some way. In fact, the other day before the ball game, he said, "Coach, do I need to go play something? Let me know what I need to do." And that kind of guy is pretty special.
And also with the kicking game, Trayshawn Ward had a very fine Saturday.
He did. He's got to quit tripping. And that artificial turf got him a couple times, but at least he was going north and south wide open. And I was really proud of that whole unit, the kickoff return unit, because we've had a little bit of a problem of executing there, and they accepted the challenge. I challenged them last week, and they stepped up.
About now away at Wingate's quarterback, what's impressive about him?
Well, he's I guess he leads the nation in touchdown passes, doesn't he? Isn't that right?
Well, he's at least the sack leader.
Yeah. So he's except for one ball game, where he threw some interceptions, he's really been on target. And of course, quarterbacks also it's a package deal. Only as good sometimes as the catchers. The thrower's got to get it done, but the catcher's got to get it done too. And he's got 2 or 3 outstanding catchers, and so. I think they create a lot of problems for you, and he'll also pull it down and run it. He pulled it down and run it last year and hurt us a couple of times, and that's always scary. When a quarterback will pull it down and run it, that's spooky.
You talk about pass catchers. Bowden, one of the ones you're referring
Oh,
to,
yeah.
number 2.
Yeah, yeah. Bowden, I guess, is leading the conference, I believe, in catches. And then the guy that hurt us last year was number 3? Who's that?
Brian Caffrey.
That's Brian Caffrey. Caught 10 passes against us last year, and so you can't concentrate on one. They've got several, and so we just got to play football.
What's the national TV game, the national TV spotlight mean that you've got the chance to put Carson-Newman out there like that?
Well, we've had a lot of those in years past, and it's always an opportunity to hopefully expound on the message that we believe in at Carson-Newman, and the message of the Lordship of Christ, and the opportunity to express what that looks like. I think it's also an opportunity, if you're not careful, an opportunity to kind of be selfish and show yourself on television to be something that you really aren't. And so something that we'd like to do is claim who we are and not claim who we aren't. And in this ball game, and play as if there's no cameras around. The interesting thing happens to people sometimes when they get around food, a pretty girl, or a camera. It's amazing how personalities can change, and so hopefully we'll be able to handle that with some maturity.
Anything else?
Just some injuries.
You like my big 3?
You've apparently been watching me eat.
Food, women.
No, Brandon, he was limited last week in as far as when he.
We had a bunch limited last week.
Is he going to be healthy this week?
Not really sure. I know this: he's not going to play if he's not. Because we hurt ourselves last week trying to play some guys that probably weren't ready to play. At least in their minds, they weren't ready to play. In our medical staff's minds, they were ready. In their minds, they weren't, and that's a bad combination. And so I don't really know a little bit more after today's practice. We normally say if they're not wide open on this day, then they probably are not going to play. And so we'll know a whole lot more after this practice.